Jacob's family has grown. Even Rachel has a baby now. She calls her son Joseph. When the time had finished that Jacob had to work for Laban, he said to him, "Let me go home together with my wives and all my children." In between he had 11 sons and 1 daughter. But Laban says, "No, please stay. I've seen that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Choose something else that I can give you." Jacob says, "Let then all the sheep that you have, that have spots and stripes, let they be mine. They are not so many." And Laban says, "Okay, that's a good plan." Jacob is still a bit tricky, and as a result, a lot of the newborn animals had stripes and spots. He becomes very rich. And Laban thinks, this is not how I want it to be. And he changes it and says to Jacob, "Let's just swap. You get all the animals without stripes and spots, and I get the one with spots and stripes." But then a lot of animals were born without stripes and spots. Laban changes the plan 10 times. But he couldn't avoid that the Lord blessed Jacob and made him very rich. Then the Lord says to Jacob, "It's time that you return to your own country." So Jacob talks to his wives and takes them and their children, put them on camels. He takes all his animals and he goes away when Laban is not at home. Laban had gone to his flock to shave the sheep. After 3 days, a servant comes to Laban and says, "Something bad has happened. Jacob has run away with all his animals and all his wives and all his children." Laban becomes angry and he said, "Come on, let's follow him." After 7 days, he finds Jacob. In between, the Lord had spoken to Laban and said, "Don't harm Jacob." So now Laban says to Jacob, "Why did you deceive me? Why did you run away without me being able to greet you and to say goodbye to my daughters and my grandchildren? And on top of that, why did you steal my gods?" Jacob says, "I was afraid that you wouldn't let me go. But we didn't steal anything. You can look through all what's here." Jacob didn't know that Rachel did it, but she is hiding it under where she is. And she says to her father, "Please, don't be angry with me. I'm not feeling well." So Laban doesn't find the stolen idols. But why did Rachel take them? Didn't she trust in the Lord? An idol can't do anything for you. Jacob becomes angry and he said, "What have I done wrong? Every time I've been serving you for 20 years, I didn't steal anything. Show me what you found." "It's the Lord who has been protecting me, otherwise you would have sent me home without anything." That's true. All the blessings come from the Lord. Then Laban says, "Let us make a covenant. Let us not be angry at each other." Together they make a heap of stones, and they promise each other never to pass this heap of stones to harm each other. Then they share a meal. The next morning Laban says goodbye to his daughters and to his grandchildren, and he goes back to his country. And Jacob proceeds his travel to his home country, the promised country of the Lord.